created the cycle of seasons. The life cycle of animals and plants also strengthened his faith. Not far from Prophet Abraham's birthplace lies Nimrod's palace. These are said to be its remains. This is the place where Nimrod exercised his whims, all his biddings obediently followed by his citizens. Prophet Abraham used his intelligence and his oratory skills to refute Nimrod's claim that he is God. According to some local archaeologists, this 47-meter tower is part of a ziggurat, a multi-leveled ancient structure. This ancient building is said to have 7 stories. Some historical observers say that this building is the Bosifar, or Bis Nimrod, the place where Nimrod and his people worshipped Nabu, the son of Marduk, whom they regarded as God. Prophet Abraham tried to correct the digression of the Babylonians by using intellectual means. However, old habits die hard. The Holy Quran recorded this incident and rehearsed to them something of Abraham's story. Behold, he said to his father and his people, "What worship ye?" They said, "We worship idols, and we remain constantly attendant on them." He said, "Do they listen to you when ye call on them, or do you good or harm?" They said, "Nay, but we found our fathers doing thus what we do." Prophet Abraham's call to Islam were not answered by his people. However, he never gave up hope. He faced awesome obstacles in the struggle to bring his people back into faith, remembering God and shunning evil deeds. Nimrod and the Babylonians could no longer endure the incessant counsel of Prophet Abraham. The climax to this crisis was the burning of Prophet Abraham by his people. He was thrown from the very top of this fort into the raging fire. The Quran commented on this incident. So naught was the answer of Abraham's people except that they said, "Slay him or burn him," but Allah did save him from the fire. Between these 2 pillars of the fort, Prophet Abraham was placed before being thrown into the fire. Although these were not the original pillars, the denizens of Sanli Urfa regard them as a landmark and as a remainder of the cruel deed of the Babylonians. Hundreds of feet below, a huge fire was then lit. Through the use of a catapult, Prophet Abraham was thrown into the raging fire. By the will of God, the scorching fire did not even singe Prophet Abraham's skin. Allah said in the Quran, "We said, O fire, be thou cool, and a mean of safety for Abraham." Today, The locals believe that the pile of logs used to burn Prophet Abraham were transformed into fishes, while the fire itself turned into water and formed a lake. However, some do not agree with this belief because it was not mentioned in the Quran or the Sunnah, the two main references for Muslims. Today, this Halil al-Rahman lake is a source of attraction for tourists. They come here to relive the incident. Two mosques were built next to this lake. They are the Rizviniya Mosque and the Halil al-Rahman Mosque. After the incident, the Prophet was commanded to leave his people. He journeyed north and stayed briefly in Haran. Today, the locals are mostly farmers and cattle breeders. Cotton is widely cultivated here. In the olden days, it was the junction of the northern Mesopotamia trading route towards the west and the northwest of Turkey. Apart from the decay caused by time and weather, these ancient houses and historical artifacts are mostly still intact. The citizens of Haran during Prophet Abraham's time worshipped the stars, unlike the Babylonians who worshipped idols. Prophet Abraham then used a different approach to attract the people of Haran. This is said to be the ruins of a university which was established in the 8th century under the rule of Harun al-Rashid. At this place several philosophers were born. Among them was Jabir bin Hayyan, who refuted the Ionian philosophy which claimed the atom, the smallest known particle, could not be separated. According to Jabir, not only can the atom be separated, but it can also generate enough energy to destroy the city of Baghdad. For thousands of years, Haran became a trade route between Mesopotamia and Anatolia. It was a cosmopolitan city with a rich culture. The earliest record on Haran was dated 2 centuries BC. According to Ibn Shaddad, a historian in the 13th century, Haran was also known as the City of Abraham, which referred to Prophet Abraham, who stayed briefly here before continuing his journey to Palestine. Marwan II, one of the rulers in the Umayyad dynasty, made Haran the capital of this kingdom. The Mongolians conquered this area in 1260 AD. They were followed by the Ottomani Caliphate in the 19th century. During this time, Haran lost its splendor. Prophet Abraham traveled extensively. From Haran, he went on to Palestine. After Palestine, he moved on to Egypt. His journeys were made with the purpose of disseminating Islam, upholding justice, and liberating human beings from their vices. His journeys, which covered a few decades and thousands of miles, were his sacrifices to his faith and to his God. Migrational journeys are the nature of prophets. The Prophet Moses migrated from Egypt to Madian, and the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, migrated from Mecca to Medina. The process of migration gave the prophets the education,